Did they?
Yeah, they made it so that you had to manually choose if you want. Right. It's still going. Oh.
Hello, it's FullyStackedTear. I'm going to be looking at Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. I've currently played about 10 hours of this now, probably close to 11 to be completely honest, and so far looking so good. If you are unfamiliar with the series of games, it started out being Red Orchestra and Red Orchestra 2, which were set in World War II. And basically what you do is you go around and either you'll be attacking certain points of the map and the other team defending, or similarly to Conquest in Battlefield, you will go around capturing different points of the map, and the more points you own, the faster your enemy tickets will run down, and the first team that runs out of tickets loses the game. The game being in closed beta or beta, depending on which way you want to say it, is looking pretty good so far. I've had a few little bugs where some deployables don't deploy or they won't deploy. I've had a few bugs where I've been stuck behind invisible walls, but there's other exits so you're not exactly trapped. Overall, in my 10 to 11 hours so far, it's looking pretty good and pretty positive so far. From a looks aspect, it does have its very own realistic kind of setting. It looks pretty damn nice for what it is. And if you're one of those people who looks at it from a price perspective, for what you're actually paying, which is currently $22.99 on release, or if you buy it now, it is £17.24, is actually a lot of game for your money. This is already cheaper than Battlefield 1, and personally, I much prefer this to Battlefield 1. I tried the beta for Battlefield 1, and pretty much uninstalled it after a few hours. It was crazy repetitive, and not that interesting to me. That's personal opinion, don't hate me for it. Now, for a little bit more about the gameplay, we're talking about the two main factions. As I'm sure you're aware, in the Vietnam War, there is the US side, and there is the Vietnamese side. In this, you'll be playing as the US Army and the US Marines, and on the Vietnamese side, you have the NLF and the PAVN. Although most likely you'll hear people shorten it to either Vietnamese or the Viet Cong. From a balancing perspective of an FPS, it's a kind of an interesting move because the Viet Cong have old World War II kind of era weapons, and the US has come over with state-of-the-art weapons, aircraft, you know, helicopters and everything, and the Vietnamese are just basically using guerrilla warfare and trying to do the best to hold them off. So you've got the literal difference between Americans using flamethrowers and stuff like grenade launchers, and then you've got the Viet Cong using stuff like punji traps. And for those of you that don't know what punji traps are, there was different variations, but the main one in the game is like a springboard. And when an American steps on that springboard, it puts spikes straight into the sides of their leg. And those spikes are covered in feces, causing them to get infected. So you can immediately see the difference in technological level. But the Vietnamese one was effective, it's kinda nasty. Both sides of the game, you'll find that they both have squad leaders leading each squad, and you'll find that they both have commanders. Both commanders have strategic options of telling the squad leaders where to go, what to do, and also using different weapons at their disposal. The Americans get the option of things like an AC-47 gunship, and they also get napalm support. Both sides get artillery, both sides get rapid reinforcement, allowing the entire dead side of the team to respawn, allowing for a quick retake or a quick push on any side. The Vietnamese get anti-air to combat the US's air superiority, allowing for strategic combat. And the Vietnamese also get the Ho Chi Minh Trail, allowing them to respawn 50% faster for a minute. Both sides get a recon plane every few minutes, allowing them to survey the battlefield, and it allows both the commander and the squad leaders to change up their play to try and get through the enemy's weakest defense. Overall, if you're a fan of Battlefield, Call of Duty or something like that, you probably will like it. I mean, unless you really dislike realism in a game, you're probably going to like it. And for the price point, you really can't go wrong. I mean, £17 for a game which has so much content in it is kind of worth every penny, really. So hopefully this has given you some kind of insight into the game if you're new to this series, and if you are not new to the series, then I hope this has given you some insight into the gameplay and maybe swayed whether you want to buy it or not. Although if you've played the other ones, I'm pretty sure you already want to buy it. It's one of those game series where you know what you're going to get regardless of how many different versions they make. They always put a lot of effort into making these games, and there's definitely some quality in every single one of these. Although if you're not a fan of gore, you will want to turn the gore off or lower it to just blood, because I have seen people being barbecued, and I've also seen people who are missing quite a lot of limbs, or I've just seen people disappear into a cloud of red mist, which has been a bit confusing, but it looks pretty spectacular from a distance. That about wraps it up for this video. If this was informative and maybe even opened your eyes to a new game you've not seen before, give me a like. If you dislike this video, give it a dislike. And if you really like me, give me a subscribe. And if you have any suggestions for videos that you'd like me to do, please drop them in the comment box below, or you can send me a personal message. I will be trying to get more videos out. I have been fairly busy recently, and keep an eye out on the near horizon for me streaming on YouTube. I'm going to be trying that out and see if I can get some fun gameplay on the go and see if I can get some user interactions as well. Anyway, see you for the next video.
I just reloaded.
I barely walked the traps.
Oh no!
Prominent.
Oh, I got shot in the head, but it was worth it.